time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
So let's bring in Jay Trepanier, known affectionately as the Mullet Man.
How's it going, guys?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. You can hear me well.
Yes.
Sick.
So, can we just get to how did you become Mullet Man?
Just by being myself at the Kings game with my brothers. It was my brother's birthday, and I love to do the group tickets thing. And I proposed it to my family. We should go watch a game. It was Thanksgiving Day, right?
Yep.
And an afternoon game, and let's all go have dinner with the family afterwards and whatnot. So this is what ends up happening, and I'm not even 1 or 2 beers in. That it's just this thing where me and my brothers, we love to imitate the refs, and it's just the kind of vibe that we like to have at the games. And I guess you can say it also has to do with perhaps how the CTC is usually quieter, that the second you start doing something like that, especially, obviously the look and the hairstyle and the Canadian tuxedo. So the cameraman, there it is. Probably there's a camera guy that figured, well, we got to start filming this guy, and
That's so good. So but how long have you had the mullet? Were you just born with the mullet?
Yeah, 27 years ago, when I was born. No. So
he comes in with a full mullet.
yeah, that would be the funniest thing. But I've had long hair for years, and I'm a full-time musician, and I used to wear hats, actually. And at some point, I wanted to do it as a joke, and I looked at my hairdresser. I said, should we do a mullet? And she answered right back, I've been wanting to do that for like 3 years. So I thought I was going to keep it for maybe a month or so, but it's got that energy, that aura. So I figured I'd just keep it.
As soon as you came on that, so you're 27?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, I'll throw a classic musician your way, because you are a dead ringer for John Oates from Hall & Oates.
I get that quite a lot. Yeah.
You heard that one, right?
And I also heard I had a gig in Renfrew at some point, and they were all saying Burton Cummings for the staff.
Oh, these eyes.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna interrupt and go. I think you look like a young Jason York.
If I had the stash,
side by side.
Pull it up.
What do you think? Jay?
Look!
Who's got the better do? Hey, we could be bros here.
Yeah, there it is. I like it.
I need the stash going. We'll have to, producer Jake will have to get a picture for our younger viewers of John Oates, maybe Burton Cummings and myself, and say who's the closest to Mullet Man here. I still think it's John Oates from Hall & Oates.
No, definitely. Yeah, I get that quite a lot. There was this other one, but yeah, it's funny. It's got the retro vibes. I dig it. I grew up listening to that kind of music, right? Harry Lewis and the News, quite a bit.
No way.
Oh yeah, I've listened. My dad, raised me on Peter Gabriel and his live show in Milan, or what was that, in Italy or something? That the 360 stage and whatnot. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow. That surprises that you're a little further back. So I like it. We can all feel that Peter Gabriel, Huey Lewis and the News group.
I got to ask you, Jay. What's the name of your band?
I'm in a band called Leverage for Mountains.
And what kind of tunes do you guys play?
I'd say it would be similar to like Crosby, Stills, Nash. We get that quite a lot. Or we started out as a duo. So Simon and Garfunkel was the obvious comparison. So now that we're a trio, this is the name that gets brought up more. It's kind of like a contemporary, very folky, sometimes a little country as well. We try to put music in boxes all the time, but really just folk music, triple harmonies, mostly acoustic guitars. Yeah.
What you guys, so every good band's got their closer song, You Bring the House Down. If you guys want to bring the house down, what's your go-to?
Well, we get a lot of response from Driveway, our song Driveway, which is on Spotify and all that. Or actually, one of our uh, okay, no, it would actually be Fine and Dandy. It's the coolest song, but it's not recorded yet. But anytime we bring it up at a show, and we basically describe it as, we used to call ourselves either harmony folk, spicy acoustics, or when naming the genre, or we would say country without the trucks and beers. But then the lead singer Nick did the exact opposite and wrote a song about trucks and beers, and it's the funniest It's got a bluegrass feel to it. So that gets a lot of appreciation when we play it live. I'd be looking forward to record that.
No, I love it.
Okay, quick. Here is we do have John Oates pick ready.
Right?
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go. I told you. Takes me a split second, and I get a doppelganger comparison right away.
Okay. So I want to get on to how you sang the national anthem at the Sens game. Now, you can take me through it, but I do know earlier you sang, your band, if I'm not mistaken, sang the national anthem at the Gatineau Olympique game, correct?
Yeah. So it all kind of happened simultaneously, and the funny thing is, my initial thought. So basically, I've been enjoying the anthems as a kid because of the GOAT Lyndon Slewage, right?
Yeah.
So big fan of anthems, and I've always wanted to do them, and my initial thought was, it would be the funniest thing to not tell my family, and at the the Thanksgiving game against the Kings, if I could do the anthem and and not tell my family, and say like, where's Jay? The game's about to start, and I'm over there just with the microphone, like more of a, not a gag, because I would take it seriously, obviously, but to surprise them, say.
Yeah.
So it's been in the back of my mind to do them, and I kind of figured it was probably going to be some form of audition or whatever, or so once all of this happened with TSN, I figured I really absolutely had to drop in a find the right email or whatever. So I did a bit of research on that, and so I sent in my my audition request, and from there we you go in person to do the audition, and if it works out, then we look at the different dates. And I didn't even know it was going to be the pizza line, because it was announced much later on. So I was just thrilled to be a part of that special night.
Jay, do you know that this one Brent Wallace here used to sing in the church choir? He's got some pipes. Like
Brent Wallace. Yeah, that name rings a bell. Probably because of X. Because
So we don't. Wally, like, do you think he could pass an audition to sing the anthem?
maybe.
No.
No?
No, that's
I love it. I'd love to see that.
No, we're not. So I'm just. Were you nervous? Because I know, like, obviously you did it at the Gatineau Olympique. Were you nervous singing in front of a national audience?
Well, I kind of feel bad to say it on a podcast in front of so many, because that was the kind of the inside joke that I was saying to just a few people. But I feel like what made me more nervous was my girlfriend following me around, because I could feel her excitement and kind of. But obviously, I wanted her by my side, especially to film and take photos and whatnot. But I must say, I was much more. I felt stoic. Like I didn't feel too stressed. Obviously, you want to do a good job, again, because I enjoy the anthems, and I don't take it lightly. But you also, one of the tricks I give my students usually is, or at least it works with myself, is to say, like, it's not the biggest thing in the world if you're to do a mistake or whatever. But anyways, all that aside, yeah, for sure, I was obviously a little bit nervous. I felt much more confident singing in the intermission on Sunday, because that's what I do, full time, and I felt like I was in my living room doing my sets, doing what I do best, doing what I do 4 to 5 times a week. So anthems, especially without music, I was just nervous to, I wanted to make sure I would start on the right key.
Yeah, for sure.
Because in hindsight, I know that I could have pushed it a lot more, but I just wanted to make sure, like, my first impression was going to be good, right?
Yep.
But I know I can sing much higher, so I went. I kind of feel like I started it a little too low to my taste. But again, you don't know what's going to happen if the nerves kick in, right, or not.
Well, I look at the. You think he's nervous? He's cruising around the CTC with a beautiful mullet and awesome stash. He's on the jumbotron. He's not nervous doing the anthem.
But there have been musicians that don't want to sing the anthem because, right, there's no music. You're basically you're alone. It just
Jay doesn't strike me as a guy that you don't strike me as a guy that's getting nervous. You're loving the spotlight. Come on.
Yeah, no, but again, I think the nerves maybe came a bit from it was more excitement, obviously. But now that the first one is out of the way, I feel like I can just do them with again with a higher note, maybe, or just with more ease, perhaps.
Hey Jay, did you put a guarantee down? Did I hear you put a guarantee down that the Sens were making the playoffs?
Hey, wait. Yorkie, if you don't come to rehearsal, how do you find out what's going on? So I'm trying to get to this, but you keep talking. At the Gatineau Olympic, there's a picture of you taken singing the anthem, and then you make a comment on the Instagram post. I forget which one it is. Jake, we have it. There it is. If they have me do the anthems, this was about singing at the Canadian Tire Center. If they have me do the anthems, we'll be playoff bound. I promise.
Nice.
Brackets. I'm delusional. So
yeah, you got to keep the last part in.
Yeah. So you've basically now guaranteed the playoffs for the Sens. This is a full circle moment.
Yes.
I also told a few folks that we're 1-0 when I do the anthems, so we got to start the count now. Yeah, it's frustrating because I love this roster the same way you love your sons. Like they're my age, but to me they're my kids, and I love them so much. And I had this trust in this team that I'm obviously some of us are like a concerned or maybe questioning, but the start of the year, like it was so strong, even though like maybe on paper or the results were not there, but we knew if it wasn't for that, last 5 minutes against Vegas, or if it wasn't about that, that unreal Shesterkin performance, those kind of games that you let slip away, they pile up, and it makes for like a question mark maybe with where we're at in the standings right now. But yeah, I can't say that I'm as confident now. Obviously, the way we played last night, if we could only play, or the way we played against the Leafs, if we could be consistent and play like that every single night, I wouldn't even be worried about the Hurricanes. But here we are. So are we clinching a spot this year? I'm still going to stand by it, and I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm the mullet man. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Okay, this is what I want. This is what I know. Does the mullet man himself play hockey? You get out there and skates?
I still do. I try to when I can. There's this beer league that I like to go on Fridays. But again, I sing most like every Friday night, so it's hard to get a spot or.
So describe, is the mullet man like a stay-at-home? No, you're like a flashy winger. There's no way you're a stay-at-home D.
So I was always referred to as Bobby Orr.
Oh, rushing defenseman.
Yeah, and I always love the view you get of the plays, and that quarterback kind of starting up plays, and especially just being puck side always, and the positioning. I was a smart player
You're a righty or a lefty? You're a righty or a lefty?
Right-handed. I'm
Right
one
shot.
and
He's
need
a right
now.
shot.
Oh,
Mullet Man's a
Yorkie,
right
you guys are
shot.
best
Put me in, coach. Put me in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in the club, Wally.
Weighing 205 pounds or so. Yeah.
People-
But honestly, I mean, I didn't have my skates on, but walking up to the to do the anthems, you just realize how 6'1" is still very small in this league, right? Like,
Are you 6'1"?
yeah, but
Okay.
but again, that wouldn't be enough. If I was 6'4" or 6'5", or you know, to have that kind of Mark Methot vibe to my play, it would be fun. But now you got me dreaming is all you're doing. But okay, let's listen to this. I think the next stunt for Mullet Man, the best thing we can do is have me do a rookie lap.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I gotta see it.
But again, with insurances and whatnot, I don't know how the team's going to react to that. And obviously it's every kid's dream. So I wouldn't want to take it lightly or kind of ridiculize the, what it means to be put on the roster and do a rookie lap. Like, that's not my point. It's just to, continue to build some sort of attention around this team,
What are you
Game one of the
drinking there,
playoffs.
Mullet Man, you having a V8 there? What is that?
I'm trying to, this,
What are you drinking there?
this is a zero sugar energy drink to get me going.
There you go.
I haven't had breakfast yet because that's just that's what I do.
Well, you're a rock star. Yeah, you don't supposed to get up until like 5. There is a video where I think it was in the AHL, of a guy who sang the anthem on skates, and then he ended up tripping over the carpet.
Oh, was it Vancouver? Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's right, Vancouver.
He had a gorgeous mullet too. That guy.
Are you serious? I didn't remember the mullet. But I just
long hair. Oh yeah.
And I remembered he kept going. I thought, it was really professional of him.
So you should be able to
but
maybe ask
also a
if he can
reminder
sing.
that it's probably not a good idea to skate while you do the anthems.
It'd be great for game one of the playoffs. You come out and sing.
I want to see Mullet Man do the lap, and I want Wally doing the anthem.
I'm not doing. Just leave me alone.
But you know what? So on top of that, I mean, if we do make the playoffs, we need Brady with a mullet for the warm up.
Everybody should get one.
Yeah. Well, but again, if we do make them, but
it's guaranteed.
We will.
We do have some other famous mullets that we've put together just to
very nice
where you might rank in these 4, because we don't have a budget for any more than 4. Let's see. You got Joe Dirt, Billy Ray Cyrus, of course. Jaromir Jagr was the classic of all NHL players, and Andre Agassi. You're you're right in there. You got more curl. You're up there with Jagr.
Yeah, I think it's. By the way, for when it comes to beer leagues, obviously this is my nickname that people always seem to want to choose. So I'm always called Jagr on the ice, and I do play as you said, a right wing. So I do play a wing for beer leagues, but I used to be a defenseman, and on that I just wanted to add that it was something special to eventually see Carlson play. I was already a teenager by then, I think. But yeah, it was kind of the years I started really, really paying attention to the names and or having a better understanding of the league and what it implies and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, Carlson was my new idol because I hadn't seen that kind of offensive defenseman.
Yeah.
Because I was referred to as Bobby Orr, but I've never witnessed him play, right? So it's too far away from me. And you would wear number 4, right? But anyways, so back to the mullet. I'll let the people decide on who's got the best mullet. But as far as the curls, I'm up there. I say maybe close second to Jagr, because Jagr he's the OG, right?
Yeah. Agassi had plugs too, I believe. That wasn't his real hair. He was he had the plugs going. So he was cheating.
2 quick questions, or 1 question, and then what would be your dream gig?
Well, obviously, eventually, maybe doing the CTC, but as a live, a live show of if
Yeah.
it's either my band or my solo project. My solo project. I'm a signed artist with a Quebec label, so I highly doubt that this is the project that's going to get me to the CTC for a sold out concert show. But yeah, stadium shows are obviously what you dream of as a gigging
Sure.
musician. So I guess what happened on Sunday was pretty magical, and to have lots of people singing along with me, and that was something else. My dream gig at this point, now that I've maybe do just more anthems for the Sens, or would Stanley Cup Finals performances.
Yeah. It'd be great.
I'm putting it out there just in case it happens. But
Well, when you
so
become a big star, just remember us, all right?
I will. Don't worry about it. But yeah. So other than that, I mean, I'm always grateful for everything that happens to me. I'm not. I never. You're making me realize I don't sit down and think of dream performances. Maybe I don't do enough visualization, but yeah.
Well, listen. This isn't obviously the last. I can't wait to see where this takes you. I hope all the best. We look forward to you belting out some tunes at some point again at the CTC. So we thank you for your time, Jay. Good luck the rest of the way here.
Thanks to both of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mullet Man.